My name is Miguel, welcome back to the channel. Let's address the elephant in the room right away, because pretending it's not here would be pointless. This watch takes very heavy inspiration from the Richard Mille RM1105. There's no way around that. The tonneau-shaped case, the motorsport-inspired dial layout, the bold colors, the layered construction, it's all clearly speaking the same design language, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I've always been a fan of Richard Mille watches from an engineering and design standpoint. They're absolutely fascinating, but realistically, I don't see myself ever owning one. 6 figures for a watch is just not something I'm comfortable with, no matter how impressive the tech is. So when something like the Chronos Art CA0905L comes along, it scratches that itch. It gives you that bold, modern, hyper-mechanical presence on the wrist without completely destroying your bank account. This watch retails for $1,299, which puts it in a very interesting position. It's not cheap in an absolute sense, but when you look at what you're getting, especially compared to what it's clearly inspired by, it starts to feel like a lot of watch for the money. The case is one of the first things that really stands out. Chronos Art uses a carbon composite combined with aluma magnesium, and the result is a case that looks aggressive and complex but feels surprisingly more lightweight than a stainless steel case. It weighs 116 grams. This is a big, bold watch, but it doesn't feel like a brick. The curvature of the case actually helps it sit better than you expect, especially considering the dimensions. On my 6 7/8 inch wrist, it's definitely large and unapologetic, but that's the point of this style of watch. If you're buying something inspired by Richard Mille, subtlety was never part of the plan. The case measures in at 42.3 millimeters. It's 49.9 millimeters from lug to lug. The thickness is 14.2 millimeters. The strap is 29 millimeters and it tapers down to 17.7 millimeters at the buckle. The company is also using sapphire crystals with anti-reflective coating on the front and back of the watch. What really elevates the experience here is the fact that this is a mechanical automatic chronograph. That's huge at this price point. Too many watches that look like this end up being quartz, and while there's nothing inherently wrong with quartz, it doesn't deliver the same emotional experience. With this watch, you get the real mechanical motion. You can see it, you can feel it, and when you engage the chronograph, the pushers are responsive and tactile in a very satisfying way. There's something about watching those hands move that just hits differently, especially if you're a mechanical watch nerd. The visual impact of the mechanical movement is a big part of the appeal. This watch wants to be looked at. The dial is busy, layered, and full of detail. And while that not be everyone's taste, it absolutely fits the F1 inspired aesthetic Chronos Art is going for. It feels like a miniature machine strapped on your wrist. And that's exactly what fans of this genre tend to love. Now, the company doesn't specify what caliber they're using, but it does feature 42 hours of power reserve. The architecture is well designed and interacting with the movement via the push and pull sign 11mm crown and chrono buttons is reassuring. Comfort is another area where this watch does better than expected. The FKM rubber strap deserves some serious praise. It's soft, supple, and extremely comfortable, even during longer wear. It doesn't feel stiff or cheap, and it conforms to the wrist nicely. The milled clasp also feels solid and well constructed, which is something I always pay attention to. A bad clasp can ruin an otherwise good watch, but that's not the case here. Everything feels secure and thoughtfully put together. Water resistance comes in at 50 meters, which some people may complain about, but even the Richard Mille this is inspired by is rated the same. Would I love to see 100 meters? Sure, but realistically, this isn't a dive watch. It's a bold sports chronograph. And 50 meters is acceptable for everyday life, hand washing, rain, that sort of thing. Now, it wouldn't be an honest review without talking about the things I don't love. Under macro photography, some of the printing on the dial isn't as crisp as I like to see. In normal, everyday wear, you'll probably never notice it, but once you start getting really close, especially with a camera, those little imperfections show up. It's not a deal breaker, but it's there. The lume is another area where there's room for improvement. It works, but it's not very bright. I love to see stronger lume on the hands and indices, especially for a watch that leans so heavily into a sporty, high-performance image. There's also the real-world consideration of safety. This is a flashy watch. Depending on where you live or travel, wearing something that looks as expensive can draw attention. It's something to be aware of. The watch looks far more expensive than it actually is, and that can be both a compliment and a concern. That said, overall, this watch feels solid for the money. It wears well for its size, it's comfortable, it has real mechanical credibility, and it delivers a bold visual statement that you just don't see very often at this price point. I really enjoyed wearing this watch. It's distinctive and it scratches a very specific itch. If you like the Richelieu aesthetic, want a mechanical chronograph, and don't want to spend the price of a supercar, the Chronos Art CA0905L is worth a serious look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more free content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As always, be safe out there and stay humble.